With a bold move that heralds the end of an era and the beginning of a high-stakes gamble, Parker Schnabel has taken a risk. In light of the fact that time was running out and his season was hanging in the balance, Big Red, the reliable wash plant that had assisted him in hauling in thousands of ounces of Klondike gold over the years, was officially retired. A replacement that is highly improbable is where Parker is placing all of his hopes. At the age of 30, Parker has been confronted with one of the most difficult seasons of his career, which has been plagued by underperforming ground, rising operational costs, and equipment breakdowns. He has inherited a massive shaker deck that is rusting and has not been tested, and he has given it the name Rockler. This claim is now the focal point of his most desperate mining push to date. Despite early aspirations of breaking records due to record-high gold prices, he acknowledges that this season has pushed him to the limit. Gold prices have reached record highs. A harsh reality hit me. He has never missed a goal in his 14 years of mining, and he is not about to start now in order to claw his way back into competition. His original aim of 10,000 ounces was reduced down to 8,000 ounces, but even that goal now appears out of reach with just over 6,000 ounces banked. Parker refuses to quit up. He has never missed a goal in his mining career. The mobilization of all of the people and all of the machines has been accomplished by Parker. Mr. Mitch is the individual who is in charge of the washing plant. In the meantime, Parker has made the most audacious move of the season by activating a newly acquired claim known as Golder Run. Roxon is currently at the elbow cut, and Bob has been moved to the bridge cut. Golder Run is not only another piece of land. Rather, it is a historic claim that spans 1,100 acres and is known for its enormous wealth. Having been mined for the first time in 1898, the ground has already generated approximately 10 tons of gold, which is currently worth more than $800 million. When the stakes are high, Parker always wants to bet big. He bought the claim just 2 months ago, and he sees it as his last real chance at salvaging the season. When he arrived at the site, he wasted no time. While most miners were withdrawing their operations for the winter, Parker and his crew were just getting started. Using a high-powered water monitor, he blasted away frozen overburden to expose the untouched paid dirt beneath his dog Rock, a gobbler. While Tyson was there, Bosa wandered about the premises. Alec and others pushed for the opening of a new 1-acre test cut, but Gold Run came with more than just historic ground. It also included a massive shaker deck wash plant that was decades old. Nobody knew if it worked. It hadn't been run in years. However, with no time to build a new plant and Big Red already maxed out and aging, Parker made the decision that the old plant would be fired up and put to the test. It was an enormous piece of machinery that was capable of processing 180i, and it housed a colossal 600-foot saw box, which was the largest he had ever worked with. Parker gave it the nickname Rock Gobbler, which was a fitting title for a plant that appeared to be capable of devouring everything in its path if it was in operation. The Alec immediately, Kelly began working on the generator. They started by holding their breath, and to everyone's surprise, the lights began to flicker on. From that point on, they started checking and mending whatever they could. The grizzly bars were missing pins. The structure was rough, but somehow piece by piece it started to come together. Eventually water was flowing, the motors were humming, and the first scoop of Golder Run pay dirt was dropped into the hopper. To the crew's amazement, the plant didn't just run, it ran well. Parker had pulled off a miracle to ensure maximum gold recovery. An expert in gold recovery was brought in by Parker. Despite the fact that Chris Mitt was not familiar with the design of the rock gobblers, he stated that he was aware of the high stakes involved in the process of fine-tuning the SLE system and modifying the water flow rates. He also stated that any loss of gold would be catastrophic at this time after a few crucial modifications. It was nothing short of impressive that Chris was able to get a relic like the rock gobbler to perform this well. Rock Gobbler is now operating alongside Roxon and the Dominion plants. Chris saw an immediate improvement with the SLA box running cleaner and more efficiently. He felt confident that the plant could do the job for a crew that was used to fine-tuning modern systems. The team was stretched to the point of exhaustion, but they shared Parker's sense of urgency at Gold Run. Alec and loader operator John Kurtz were feeding the plant with up to 150 yards of paid dirt per hour, which was significantly more than what was expected. Even John admitted that he never thought the old plant would run again, but now it was performing beyond expectations. Parker found himself operating 3 wash plants at the same time, which was for the first time in his career. It was a logistical nightmare, but he was willing to take on every ounce of gold rush mattered. "It is Goblin Rock," he replied with a grin as everything started to fall into place where they should have. Parker hopped inside a loader in order to control the fine tails that were piling up near the plant. For a brief while, momentum was on their side. However, without any prior warning, the feed belt stopped cold. Parker jumped out of the loader, feeling furious and on high alert. Because there is no time left to waste at this point in the season, he raced to find the cause because mechanical failure is always lurking in the shadows, and even the smallest hiccup could undo hours of progress. At this point in the season, there is no time left to waste as Yukon temperatures continue to be locked in a battle against the clock, the weather, and their own fatigue. Gold prices are sky-high and the finish line is approaching fast. Parker is determined to pull every lever. Last ounce out of the ground, it is not yet known whether Rock Gobbler is capable of bearing the burden of that dream, but what is certain is that it is inevitable. Lucidly, with Rock Gobbler in full swing and the legacy of Big Red behind him, Parker is betting it all on one more push as the mining season draws to a close. Parker has stated earlier that he is not going to back down from his position. He has wash plants on every bit of ground that is still slowable. With time running out and the frost creeping in, Parker Schnabel is in full salvage mode, scraping off every last bit of paste soil from the edges of his claim. He is racing against the clock. At the Gold Run site, Parker and his crew are working non-stop to process the final loads of material in order to get every ounce through the Rock Gobbler wash plant before the cold shuts everything down for good. However, just as they appear to be gaining momentum, disaster strikes, an unexpected mechanical failure that halts the operation without any prior warning. The tailings conveyor at Rock Gobbler has jammed within moments. The entire plant comes to a complete halt as boulders start to accumulate on top of one another. As soon as the team realizes that clearing out the blocked conveyor is not an easy task, they quickly become frustrated because they are aware that it could take many hours of their valuable time, which they simply do not have. Tyson arrives to assess the damage, and upon discovering that the conveyor belt is blocked, he does not waste any time in pushing the team to get the plant back online. Since there is no other wash plant available at the Gold Run, the Rock Gobbler is Parker's only chance to finish strong. Despite the fatigue of the crew, they dig in, literally digging with shovels in their hands, and they clear out the jam and get ready for a restart. A member of the crew makes the remark that he is prepared to give up the use of manual tools and allow the machine to perform its duties once more. Just a few moments later, the Rock Gobbler comes back to life, the first bucket of paid dirt is deposited into the hopper, and the system starts to churn once again. Instantaneously, spirit is lifted. Parker calls in to check on progress, asking to know if the factory is operational again. He receives confirmation from Alec and John that things are back on track, which is a relief. Despite the fact that the plant is still operating and operating strong, the plant is still operating, reminding them that a few rocks aren't going to stop their operation this late in the game at this stage of the season. He congratulates the squad for getting the job done and reminds them that every ounce of gold that is still in the game is still in the game. Despite the fact that the ground must be earned the hard way, Parker's crew is as resolute as ever. With the Rock Gobbler back in motion and no space left for setbacks, they are battling to the absolute last yard to keep Parker's gold dream alive.